2027 is shaping up to be the best year for LEGO Lord of the Rings that we've had in a while, as some recent rumors have just been confirmed. So let's talk about what's coming in 2027, what this could mean for the theme, and some of the sets that could be coming in 2028 and beyond, because this could finally be the turning point for getting some smaller sets and battle packs. Bricktap just confirmed that we'll be getting a Helm's Deep and Prancing Pony Inn in 2027, as well as a LEGO Castle and Pirates of the Caribbean set that I'm also pretty excited for. Jumping right in, the biggest set we'll be getting is Helm's Deep, and I assume this will release June 1st of 2027 based on the release date of the previous flagship sets. It's rumored to have over 7,000 pieces and include Theoden and Haldir, and if this is true, it'll probably be over $700, making it the most expensive Lord of the Rings set yet. And although it'll definitely be expensive, I'm sure it'll look absolutely glorious. I saw this Helm's Deep mock on Rebrickable with over 12,000 pieces, and I think if the official set is something similar to this, just without the sidewall and with some other things trimmed down a bit, it would be pretty on point for what fans want. I feel like there's only really one way LEGO could approach Helm's Deep, and no matter what, it needs to feel like a massive fortress if it's gonna have a high price tag. The bare minimum minifigure lineup would probably have King Theoden, Haldir, Legolas, Gimli, Aragorn, and around 4 Rohan soldiers. This would be pretty similar to the Minas Tirith lineup, but I sincerely hope LEGO takes the feedback regarding that set seriously and gives us more like 20 to 25 minifigures. And honestly, I don't think that's an unreasonable ask for a set this large. The Death Star had over 40 minifigures at a slightly higher price, so I think LEGO has plenty of room to give us a really good lineup here. I would love to see more like 6 Rohan soldiers, 3 to 4 Lothlorien elves, 4 to 6 Uruk-hai, including the Berserker that blows up the wall, as well as Gamling, Éomer, and Gandalf the White. Now obviously LEGO may not go this far, especially given the underwhelming minifigure counts of Barad-dûr and Minas Tirith, but I hope we at least get all the main characters, a good number of Rohan soldiers, and a few Uruk-hai. If we're lucky, maybe we'll eventually get some smaller battle packs that could fill in the gaps for the basic factions as well. No matter what, this is incredibly exciting for us Lord of the Rings fans, as we haven't gotten a Helm's Deep set in nearly 15 years, and we also haven't gotten official Rohan soldiers since then either. Getting a massive modern version of the fortress along with new Rohan and Uruk-hai figures would be great, especially since they won't have brittle colors like the older minifigures. Like I mentioned, we're also getting the Prancing Pony Inn next year, and this is another iconic location that feels long overdue for an official set. It's rumored to be around 2,000 pieces and $200, although I don't know how reliable that information is at the moment. I saw this model on LEGO Ideas, and I really like how it looks. Something like this with some simple interiors would be perfect for a set that isn't unreasonably expensive while still capturing the iconic look of the inn. I think this will also be a really interesting choice for LEGO because unlike something like Helm's Deep, it'll focus on more of a simple civilian inhabited location as opposed to a grand scene in the movies. I'm pretty sure we'll be getting Barlaman Butterbur, the owner of the inn, and most likely the 4 hobbits and Aragorn. The hobbits will probably reuse their printing from Rivendell, although I'm hoping Aragorn may get some new prints for his cloaked ranger outfit. I also wouldn't be surprised if we get a Bree citizen or 2, and there's a good chance we'll get a couple ringwraiths as well, although most likely they'll be the same as the one from the Barad-dûr Fellbeast gift with purchase, which already came to Pick-a-Brick a couple years ago. If they include ringwraiths though, there's a good chance we could get some new horses for them. The old ones are going for over $30 now, so it would be great to see those return in some form. This is the type of set that kind of has to include a good amount of minifigures to really fill in the scene, so I have pretty high hopes for the full lineup. The recent Ancient Moongrazing Inn was a really well-received set as it had a solid price per piece ratio, a good amount of minifigures, and was a nice looking build overall. A lot of castle fans, including myself, have been hoping for a medieval version of a set like this, and I think the Prancing Pony Inn could be just that set if the price is reasonable for what you get. We don't know the release date of this one yet, but I'll make another video when we get more information, so make sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date on LEGO Lord of the Rings news. In January, we'll be getting an Oliphant diorama that I made a dedicated video about a while back, and so far we know it'll be 2,017 pieces without much other information. I've heard rumors that it'll have between 3 and 7 minifigures, which feels a bit light for the size, but I also don't know how credible they are. Ideally, I think the set would at least include Legolas, Éomer, and the Haradrim Commander, and at least 3 Haradrim and Rohan soldiers, but if they really skimp out and only include a few minifigures, I think a lot of fans will be disappointed. The Shire has the exact same piece count with 9 minifigures, so I would hope for an action-packed scene like this to at least have a similar number. That said, sets like Barad-dûr and Minas Tirith had much lower minifigure to piece count ratios, so I'm half expecting to be a bit disappointed. I'm sure the Oliphant itself will look great though, and at that part count, I think there's a good chance we could see a gift with purchase release alongside it. The thing is, the whole issue with not getting enough minifigures in the big sets could be mostly solved if there were smaller sets and battle packs releasing alongside them, because you could supplement the lack of basic soldiers for fairly cheap. And while I don't think we'll see any released alongside these specific sets, I actually think there's a good chance we'll get some either later in the year or the year after. For one, we're getting more Lord of the Rings sets in 2027 than we've gotten in 10 years. Before this, we were mainly getting a big display piece with some small Brickheads releases, or a moderately priced set like the Balrog Book Nook or Sauron Bust. But this year, we're getting 3 major releases, all covering completely different parts of Middle-earth. On top of that, we're getting the Hunt for Golem movie at the end of 2027. And there's also the Shadows of the Past project in the works at the moment that'll probably release in 2028 or 2029. For now, we're getting some new Lord of the Rings movies, and the last time we got movies set in Middle-earth, we got the Hobbit trilogy, which brought a bunch of Lego sets alongside them. We've also seen some pretty strong demand for the more recent Lord of the Rings releases, so I think there's clearly an audience for more sets. The fact that LEGO is ramping up the production of Lord of the Rings as opposed to slowing down gives me hope that LEGO is recognizing the potential of the theme outside of just one major release a year. And if these sets sell well, I think smaller sets could be a really easy way for LEGO to expand the theme without needing to only make massive $250 to $700 display pieces that a lot of fans simply can't afford. Now, I don't know what types of sets the Hunt for Golem or Shadows of the Past could bring, but if they're making more sets based on the original trilogy, I think there are some obvious options. Edoras is probably the #1 requested location that I see, and it seems like an obvious option for a major release, especially since we'll most likely already have some good Rohan soldier prints in Helm's Deep. Lothlorien would be a cool location, and they could even do that as a mid-sized $100 to $200 set, since they seem to now be releasing a couple of those alongside the big flagship set. A Tower of Orthanc remake would be cool, and they could go all out on making a really tall one. Osgiliath could also be cool in a variety of sizes, as it could be a huge build, or they could make a smaller diorama focused on a specific scene. Speaking of smaller sets, there are literally so many options. The most obvious ones are battle packs. Rohan, Gondor, Orc, Uruk-hai, Elf, or Haradrim battle packs would all be a dream come true for a lot of us Lord of the Rings fans, and LEGO could easily reuse some of the pieces from current and future Lord of the Rings releases. They could also make some smaller playsets like a remake of Shelob's Lair, a small section of Amon Hen, a Treebeard set, or even a diorama of Eowyn versus the Witch King. There are so many good options for big and small Lord of the Rings sets, and I actually think there's a chance of getting some of them now. We'll just have to wait and see what LEGO has in store. Now, I mentioned earlier that we're getting a new Pirates of the Caribbean and Castle set, and these are the Flying Dutchman and a claw machine based on the original Yellow Castle. It said these could be 2027 or 2028, so we don't know the release dates on these yet, but I'm personally super excited, as someone who really only collects Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Castle. Sadly, these are all themes locked behind big $100+ adult-focused sets mainly, but I hope that changes in the future. Anyways, 2027 is shaping up to be a better year for LEGO Lord of the Rings than I thought, and of course, I'm excited to see what else we get 2028 and beyond. I don't think we're suddenly gonna see a full Lord of the Rings theme next year, but I really hope this is the beginning of LEGO expanding beyond just 1 or 2 massive display sets and giving us some smaller sets, battle packs, and other affordable ways to actually build out Middle-earth. And with the Hunt for Golem movie releasing at the end of next year, who knows what we could see. Let me know your thoughts on these leaks in the comments, and also let me know what your dream Lord of the Rings sets would be. If you want to stay up to date with LEGO Lord of the Rings news, or just enjoy LEGO Lord of the Rings content in general, make sure to subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.